All right. It's 8 o'clock on the dot.
In my drop top.
Aha, caught you. Caught you looking millennial. It's okay. I love it. Well, good morning, everybody. All these beautiful faces. And Jamie. I don't know how you can zoom in a Jeep, man. Isn't that like a wind tunnel?
Not this one. This is my truck. This one's a lot quieter.
Jamie, long time no see.
I know, we haven't seen you in a while.
Yep. How's it going, everybody?
Too busy for us.
Good.
Fantastic.
Came to get my head back in the game.
I don't
In
know.
the right place.
I don't know if I can help you that. Maybe someone else on the call's got it figured out. Get your head back in it. All I know is that I am fiending for some wins. So tell me something good.
Prepping my listing today. Photography is coming in. So
There we go.
coming up.
Next.
I had one of my buyer consults yesterday. I don't know why yesterday I said I had them next week because they're all this week. But I had one of them yesterday and I got him signed. So I'm excited about that one.
There you go. Love it. Come on. Other wins, other celebrations.
I picked up a client from another Anthony referral, not Anthony Sotelo. A guy he works with. They are looking to sell their house and buy another one. So we're going to get together on Monday.
I like it.
Yeah.
So much things happening. So many things happening. And like Mikey put in the chat for you, you matter. You matter. Remember that. You matter. Until you multiply yourself times the speed of light squared, then you energy. But until then, you matter. And if you're not a nerd like me, you probably didn't understand that joke. I know Jim.
Oh, you got it, Dad Joke King. We're all over it.
All over it. Did you guys know that I have a box of dad jokes right above my sock drawer? Like, that's first thing I look at every day is dad jokes.
I think that's more of like a nuclear engineer wife joke or
or a romance novel author joke, maybe.
Maybe I'm writing a book about a New York lawyer that's a secret book author whose wife is a nuclear physicist.
Who has 5 children.
And we call that platonic bonds.
Boom. Mic drop. I think you just got it.
So 5 13-year-old children.
Yeah, all 13.
Were they? I thought they were all 12.
10
yeah, they were 12.
The setup for that joke was
great, guys.
What was that, Jamie?
To say the setup for that joke was golden. I'm glad it took 10 minutes to get to that punchline, but it was worth it.
You're welcome. Everything I do was intentional, my friends. And speaking of intention, Gracie had asked us to continue the conversations we were having yesterday, and we're going to, right? She said she wants some more tactical environment, having actual examples of the conversations of how we get people into business. Funny thing is, Gracie, I got a text message from another one of you on this call around the same lines. Need to develop qualifying questions so that you can get hired to be the agent. Anyone else think that that's a good thing to talk about?
Always.
Qualifying question. What are qualifying questions?
Questions, basically to lead up to what somebody is looking for. Like we had a training with Seth yesterday, which was called can elevate your conversations. And there was a bunch of different examples of what you could ask people in conversations to build rapport and find out how you could help them. So I'd say it's along the same lines.
Good. Okay. Elevate rapport, ask good questions. Let me read something to you. This is from Mikey this morning. You guys can share your thanks to Mikey. He said, here's a quick post to think about. Listen carefully because it'll help you make millions of dollars. Do I have your attention? right? This will help you make millions of dollars. Who is this job for? In real estate, who is this job for? The answer? The buyers, the sellers, and the owners that you meet. This isn't about you. This isn't about you. This is about them. We are in the service industry. So the agent that sent this said, twice this week I lost listings. Why? Because I made it about me. And who am I? What have I done? And what I'm willing to do. All right, we talked about that, the ego around real estate. Instead of making it about them, their needs, their goals, their expectations. You following along? Right? I thought I was dazzling and I was showmanship and I was showing them how great I was with my knowledge and my awesomeness. I wasn't. The only one that was impressed was me. I broke the rules. First rule, always follow the script. They are focused on learning about the buyers and sellers' wants, needs, hopes, and expectations. Sideways to that, guys. If you're not taking time to learn about the buyers and sellers' wants, needs, hopes, and expectations, how will you ever provide them a product that they want to buy? And who's that product? Two thumbs? Leaning back? You are. Right? Always pre-qualify. 100% of the people, 100% of the time. I got a text message at 6 o'clock this morning about somebody asking about, one of our agents asking about the value of a home. And I looked it up and I said, is your seller's name this? And she goes, no. I was like, you got a problem because that's who it's registered to. That's a pre-qualification, right? For me to sell your property, I need to know that you're qualified to do so. As a buyer, are you qualified to purchase? These are questions that we need to ask, not to disqualify, but to make sure that we're having the right conversations. It can't be as simple as if you make that can be, it can be as simple. Sorry, let me start over. Pre-qualifying can be as simple as if what I say makes sense and you are comfortable and confident that I can sell your property at the price that meets your goal, will you list your home with me? Is that a pre-qualification? Right? Are you able to sell the house? And if what I talk to you about makes sense, are you going to sell it with me? When you skip steps, do you get the whole picture? No, right? This guy says, I've skipped steps. I've assumed my own experiences and awesomeness would win them over. It didn't. It didn't. The
Not
lesson,
what they ask.
right? Your lesson here, for all of us pretty agents, the ones that have been pretty, you know what I'm talking about? We're so pretty, we're so good, we're so awesome. For us pretty agents, listen closely. Your past success isn't a free pass. You still have to earn their business every single time. Pride and confidence is your achievement is great. I love that. I want you guys to be confident about what you're doing. I want you to be excited about what you're doing. I want you to have pride in yourself. But it's not a substitute for curiosity. Just because you know what you're doing does not mean you don't have to ask what they want. Let that sink in. Just because someone reached out to you about a house that you have listed on Facebook that's X, Y, and Z, do not get sold on the fact that that's the only house they're looking at. How many people do you think buy the first home they look at? And I mean, not the first person, like in person. I mean, the first ever. Online, Zillow, that's it. Probably 0%. So be curiosity. Live in curiosity. But it's not a substitute for curiosity about the buyer and seller or others' wants. So we have to go back to their goals, their needs, their expectations. I like the way he finishes. He goes, ask more questions about their hopes, their plans, their expectations, and then listen to the answers. I think we miss a lot of that in our conversations. We ask questions and then we do nothing. If you've been on my calls long enough, what's the second part of this sentence? Ask questions and then shut up. Ask a good question and then shut up. Give people space to talk. And finally, if you really need someone to admire your greatness, get a dog. Personally, I think you should get a Labrador. Mine thinks I'm pretty great.
Or 3 dogs.
Or 3, right? Christina really needs validation. But I
My
love that
lab.
because it goes into the conversation we're going to have today is how do we get more people to say yes to working with us? Yesterday it was kind of premised in the BRBC or the buyer broker agreement, whatever that looks like, right? That is a contract for employment. That means that we have earned the right to provide real estate services for the buyers and sellers that we're dealing with. So let's go back to that. If I provide you enough value and information today, what we're going to talk about in the process of buying or selling, whatever it is, are you in a position to make a decision to work with me? That's a pre-qualification. Then you go into your spiel, your shtick. And like we heard from this agent, don't make it about you. I'm the number one agent in this area. I'm the number one in this neighborhood. I'm the number one wearing a blue denim Dickie jacket. It doesn't matter. What are you looking for? What are your hopes and dreams? What is your idea of success? What's your idea of home look like? What's the yard look like? What's the backyard look like? What's the neighborhood? What type of ambiance? What type of environment are you looking for? And I love the what are your expectations? Raise your hand if you know exactly what your clients expect out of you. Wrong.
I ask.
They don't always tell you.
They don't always tell you. They're going to give you some. Keep asking. Let's go back to high school. Go back in time with me. Jump in your Wayback Machines. Except for Gracie, just jump in your yesterday machine. I was going to make fun of Ty, but you're the next in line here. So, way back in high school, right? Which kind of test did you like to do? Pop quizzes or open book?
None.
Pop,
That's why you're struggling getting contracts.
Open book.
Why open book?
Because you have more time to look at your or review things.
Okay. On the test, 10 questions, right? And you have all 10 questions right there in front of you. You have the things that are important on this piece of paper, and then you have a book next to you. What can you do?
You can reference it.
You can reference it. You can give the information that the test wants. When you ask for expectations, what are your expectations of the agent that you hire to work for you? X, Y, and Z. Now you're going to go into your presentation. What parts of your presentation should you talk about? A, B, and C, or X, Y, and Z? Not rhetorical. I want to hear someone's answer.
X, Y, and Z.
Why do you think that is, Miss Leach?
Because they specified that. They didn't specify A, B, and C. That might be what seems important to you, but they outlined that X, Y, and Z are their priority.
Did you guys hear that? A, B, and C might be important to you, but who's this conversation for?
Them.
Them. I know you were hoping to get this magical script today. This brilliant one-liner that was going to get everybody to sign the contract. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I could give you the line. It seems like it would be a win-win to work together. Would you like me to blank? Would you like me to sell your home? Would you like me to help you find a house? Would you like me to help you find an investment property? Would you like me to rent out your house for you? Would you like me to be your landlord? Anything. It seems like it'd be a win-win to work together. Would you like me to blank? But you cannot deliver that line until what happens?
You learn what they want,
And
service them.
how so?
By doing what they say, looking for what they want, and
Providing value
okay.
that they are seeking. I want you to imagine yourself being very, very thirsty, super parched, right? And you come to my house, and I am a prolific baker of biscuits, and I give you the best Popeyes biscuit you've ever had. How excited are you for the world's best biscuit? You're not, because you're thirsty. You don't want a biscuit. That biscuit is worth diddly to you. However, a glass of water you might stab your aunt for. Slap your grandmama for a bottle of some sparkling go-go. When you provide value and resources and materials and products and services that you find highly valuable that the other people don't want, there's no value there. So that's why we ask questions. We find out about them. What are you looking for? Why are you trying to buy a house? What is this property going to do for you? What is the lifestyle that's going to be improved by this purchase? Okay. What's your timeline? How soon, how late, how long, how far, how easy, how tough? All of these things. And then you ask, what's important about the relationship you have with your realtor? You want to sneak this in there, Gracie? Try this on for size. Hey, Gracie, when you hire me to be your agent, what do you expect out of me? Can anyone tell me what I did with that one question?
Gave them the choice.
There's one thing. Come on, Jason.
Sale.
Go ahead, Jason.
You assume the assumptive sale. You put the idea in them that they need to hire you.
How did I do that, Jason?
By the way that you phrased your question.
Okay. Did you catch on to that, Gracie?
Mhm.
I do the same thing when I'm calling expireds.
Yeah.
What was it that your last agent did that you really enjoyed that you need me to do moving forward?
Yeah. You assume the relationship. You embed commands. When you hire me, that's an embedded command, but I'm also assuming the relationship. Just like Jim said, what did your last agent do that you absolutely do not want me to do when I represent you? Presumptive closing.
Or ask them why their last home didn't sell, and then they ramble on about how terrible the agent was, and then you just take notes and make sure that you don't do those things.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's communication.
100%. If anybody could give me an argument against this one statement, I would love to hear it. Anything can be solved with the right type of communication.
100% agree.
Anything. Disagreements. Hell, I could solve death with the right type of conversation.
Depends who you're talking to.
Sometimes the communication's a stick.
Yeah. But I just want to go back to that again is who is this about? Your past experiences, your past successes, your past grandeur and greatness Don't matter. As nearly as much as your curiosity is going to. You guys know I talk about my dog a lot because Moose is the best sales trainer I know. My 110-pound Labrador does not know a stranger, does not know an objection, does not know any kind of biases against meeting new people. I have seen that creature walk up to a javelina and be like, friend? Weird looking friend, but friend? Walked up to a deer, tall friend, with pointy head. Now, what can we learn from that? Well, he's infinitely curious. It's either friend or food. He's got to figure out which one. So in real estate, it's either client or customer. Got to figure out which one. If you don't know the difference, I'm sorry. I hope you get more of the former. Clients have signed with you. Customers haven't. So be curious, ask questions. What are you looking for? What are your hopes and dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? What are your expectations? Then when you have your consultation, you have your conversation with them. You know, we're going to go over a bunch of stuff today. And at the end of it, we're going to identify if we're going to work together. Are you okay with that? Have I not just pre-assumed that I'm going to ask them to hire me or not? Before we get started, is there anyone else that needs to be a part of this conversation that will be crucial in the decision-making of buying or selling this home? One thing I can tell you is I hate when they're like, well, are all the decision makers available? Right. Does anyone remember the conversation I had with the solar guy a couple years ago that asked me that question in my house? So I had a solar guy show up, ego as shit. 20 some years in the solar game. I knew that because he told me like 15 times on the phone. Shows up to the house, comes down, like we have a 2-story house, and then my wife's office is upstairs where she can hear everything. I'm sure my wife can hear me now, and I'm 5 miles away from home. My wife's hearing is that good. So the guy walks in and says, hey, I'm egotistical solar sales guy. I'd like to talk to you. I'm like, great. He goes, is everyone here that's here to make decisions? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. He goes, well, your wife's upstairs. I'm like, yeah, she is. Well, she's not going to be part of the conversation. I was like, no, she's not. I'm handling it. He goes, well, I can't talk to you until all the decision makers are available. I was like, well, then you can see yourself out. Yeah, 20 some years in the business and he hasn't learned humility. 20 years in the business and he didn't ask a damn question. He assumed. Because my wife was home, my wife had to be a part of the conversation. Well, for some of you, you know, my wife is the most friendly person in the world, right? You know that. She loves people. She can talk for hours. For those of you who don't know, I'm lying, 100%. My wife is very antisocial. She can't stand people. She hates contractors in the house. Her best friend could come over and bring a friend, and she would hide because someone new was there. She's like, nope, don't want to be around it. So I handle all of that. I get all the information. And then I go to my wife and I tell her the stuff that mattered. This is how much it is the cost. This is how much it is down payment. And this is when they can install it. That's all she wants to know. And she wants to know, do I like it or do I not like it? Because if I say yes to it, guess what my wife's idea is? You said yes, I say yes. You said no, I say no. I don't need my wife's permission to do anything. I have it. So if he just walked in and said, you know what, you have a beautiful home. I'm excited to talk to you about some of this process. What are your expectations? What are you hoping for? What information do you need? All of a sudden, now we have a conversation. Now we have something we can go on.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Solar Buyer, at the end of this conversation, we're going to decide if we're going to work together or not. Are you okay with that? And if they say no, you ask some more questions. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, at the end of this conversation, we're going to decide if we're going to work together or not. Is that all right? Oh, we're not ready to make that decision. Okay, well, what makes you say that? Curiosity. Ask more questions. And if they said yes to that question, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, at the end of this, we're going to identify if we're going to work together or not. Are you all right with that? Fantastic. Well, tell me, what are you interested in? What information could be the most valuable to you? Be prepared to answer A through Z. But if they only ask you about NMNOP, then that's all you talk about. Now that we've gone over the information that you told me that was important, what else can I answer while you have my attention? Oh, that's it? Fantastic. Well, I think it would be a win-win for us to work together. Would you like me to help you buy a house? Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, 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 we're not ready to make that decision. Well, if you remember when we first had this conversation, we said we're going to identify if we're going to work together. And in my experience, I've found that it comes down to one of three reasons. One, it's timing and money. Two, it's the environment, the area. And three, it's the agent. So you guys know you want to buy a house. You've kind of talked about what it's going to look like financially, right? Yeah. And you know you guys want to live in this area. We've kind of decided you've rented here for 5 years, and this is definitely where you want to live, right? So it's got to be me. What have I done or not said? What have I said or not said that would make you not want to hire me? Oh, no, no, no. You've done everything. It's all fine. Okay, great. Well, sign right here. Are you catching how this goes?
I do similar with my selling clients. I knock on the door for the appointment. It's, hey Dan, thanks so much for having me over. I've prepared a lot of information for you, but I'm most intrigued on what's most important to you, other than price, compensation, and what to do to get the house ready for the market. What else is most important to you and your family?
Timeline.
Or whatever. Yeah, it's
because did he not cover the big three that everyone wants to know about? Right. Other than the things I know you're going to ask me about. Of the last 5 listings I've gotten signed this month, one of them asked me about my compensation.
I just try to get to it before they do.
I don't even bring it up in the conversation unless they ask, because it's on the documents. We go over it when we go over the contracts. I just lay out a base of understanding, a title weight of value that matches the desires that they've already told me they have. You guys can imagine that there's a very polarized environment around politics, right? If you're a diehard lefty or a diehard righty, doesn't matter much. You find yourself in a conversation with someone that's across the table on the other side of the aisle, it might be some friction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe don't bring up things that can create friction. So avoid those conversations. Keep your deep-seated beliefs one way or the other to the small circle of people that aren't going to buy houses from you. Because that's about you, not them. Religion, politics, race, creed, religion, I don't care what it is. Keep it to yourself because it's not about you. It's about who?
Them.
Them. I don't care if the person I'm talking to is a complete lunatic leftist or a radical righty. Actually, there was that one guy that was the Nazi that had all this stuff on his house, and I just walked right out. So, yeah, draw a line. You can find a way to help anybody. And if you find yourself in a position where you just can't get along with them, like there's just something about them you just can't get along with, turn it to somebody who can. Remember that. Do not fight with a client just to get a paycheck, because if it's going to be an uphill battle that ain't worth it, don't do it. If their expectations are beyond what you feel like you can meet, do not set yourself up for failure. If they want you on call 24/7, 365, do you want to do business with that person? I expect my realtor to help me pack and move and come over and unpack and put everything away and fold my sheets and iron my underwear. No, thank you. So it's also pre-qualifying for if you want to do business with them.
Dan, I think that's a really good point that a lot of times we miss is it's like we either go from, I'm going to be this person's agent and we're going to work together, or it's just not a good fit, move on to the next person. And it's like, that's not necessarily true. You may know another agent, another person that you can still get a referral deal out of. And that solidifies that after you go through and you learn what that person's about. You say, you know what, like, I'm just going to shoot you straight. I know this other agent in my office who you guys have so much in common. I think if I'm being totally transparent, I think the best person to help you, I would love to make that introduction and then reach out, loop them in, and you have potentially a referral right there. And then you've built even more trust, hopefully that is transferable to the new person because you know, you didn't bullshit them.
100%, guys. Remember this as we go into the weekend is you don't have to service every client just to do so. If it ain't a good fit, find a good fit and get a referral. Because 50% of something is better than all of nothing.
Basically what I'm getting at is don't worry about dealing with your co-op clients, guys. Just send them my way.
Right? If you guys got a co-op and you don't want to deal with it, Christina's the co-op queen. You'll get a solid 25% of that $1,200.
Show enough. You like coffee? I got a cup. It's right here.
All right.
All
Was today worth your time?
Yes.
Good. I want to say welcome, Lamar. You're new. We've seen you on here laughing and smiling and learning some stuff.
Yeah, I'm just doing the paperwork and the contracts and stuff, so I'm brand new. So it's great to meet all you guys. I'm really excited to join the team, and I got a lot of value out of the meeting today.
Which office are you out of?
La Jolla.
La Jolla. Look at you guys. California just breeding like rabbits. You guys
I thought it was like New York City, given the background. I was like, what town is this guy in? I want to go visit there.
No,
guys,
I don't even know like how to control the Zoom backgrounds, but I'm just at work right now.
all good. We don't need to learn Zoom. Just show up, camera on, and let's get to work. So just so you guys remember, if you want to recap this, we've been doing this. They're all live streamed on the YouTube. Just search Big Dan Caldwell. They're on the lives there. You can go back and listen to these and any of the last 15. So it's a new change that we've been doing to give you the opportunity to go back and rewatch some pieces and parts and write them down. So Gracie, was this helpful? Because this whole day was about you.
I just typed in the chat. Yeah, thank you so much. I think this was definitely like the scripting boost that I needed this week. You know, given all the struggles that I've had, I didn't realize that's what I needed, but it's been really helpful. So I wrote down all the examples of things I could say, and it's going to help me out a lot. So thank you.
Good. I'm glad to see it, guys. Learn something every day. Show up, learn some more. Go be rivers out there, pour the value into others, and go sell some houses. Jamie, is your head back in it a little bit?
Yeah. Yep. Nope. I love these calls, man. They're great.
Good.
And
Well,
hopefully I hope that everybody else took value from it and it wasn't just like based off of me.
No,
I don't care. This is all about you today, Gracie, because you asked and we delivered.
I thought it was all about me.
Oh, is it? Hey, if you feel like it was all about
good.
you today, then you're welcome.
We're realtors. We all thought it was about each and every one of us.
Right.
From the bottom of my heart, if you guys felt like it was for you, you're welcome.